New Thought is a term that describes a particular philosophical and religious movement that began to take shape in the last quarter of the 19th century. The International New Thought Alliance outlines 10 ideas in their Declaration of Principles. Chief among them are the ideas that God is good and everywhere present, including within each person, that we create our experiences by what we choose to think, do, and believe, and in the power of prayer as a means of direct experience of God. There was no specific founder of New Thought. Rather, it developed organically. The term was first used in 1889 by William Holcomb in his publication Condensed Thoughts About Christian Science. At the time, the term Christian Science was used generically and not to describe the specific religious movement of the same name founded by Mary Baker Eddy. After 1892, the term Christian Science was used only to describe that specific religious movement. In 1902, Harvard psychologist and philosopher William James published his collection of 20 lectures on natural theology entitled The Varieties of Religious Experience. In his lecture on the religion of healthy-mindedness, he describes New Thought as the mind cure movement. He says, "It is an optimistic scheme of life, with both a speculative and a practical side. In its gradual development during the last quarter of a century, it has taken up into itself a number of contributory elements, and it must now be reckoned with as a genuine religious power. It has reached the stage, for example, when the demand for its literature is great enough for insincere stuff, mechanically produced for the market, to be to a certain extent supplied by publishers, and a phenomenon never observed, I imagine, until a religion has gotten well past its earliest insecure beginnings." He goes on to say, "One of the doctrinal sources of mind cure is the Four Gospels. Another is Emersonianism, or New England Transcendentalism. Another is Berkeleyan idealism. Another is Spiritism, with its messages of law and progress and development. Another, the optimistic popular science evolutionism of which I have recently spoken. And finally, Hinduism has contributed a strain. But the most characteristic feature of the mind cure movement is an inspiration much more direct. The leaders in this faith have had an intuitive belief in the all-saving power of healthy-minded attitudes as such, in the conquering efficacy of courage, hope, and trust, and a correlative contempt for doubt, fear, worry, and all nervously precautionary states of mind. Their belief has, in a general way, been corroborated by the practical experience of their disciples, and this experience forms today a mass imposing in amount." Given that James was considering the whole of human religious experiences in his book, the fact that he chose to address a very new movement does speak to the reach and influence the New Thought movement had achieved in a very short period of time. He points out that while there are differences among the different mind cure sects, as he calls them, their similarities are much greater, so that they may be addressed essentially as a single movement. By saying the demand for their literature was great enough for insincere stuff, he may be suggesting that there was an element of opportunism or philosophies that had not been fully thought through. But ideas that provide value will remain. Today, there are more than a dozen New Thought denominations in North America and around the world. The largest and best known among them include Divine Science, founded in 1888 by Melinda Kramer and Nana Brooks; Unity School of Christianity, now referred to simply as Unity, founded in 1889 by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore; United Centers for Spiritual Living, founded in 1926 by Ernest Holmes; Seicho Noe, founded in 1930 by Masaharu Taniguchi; and Agape International Spiritual Center, founded in 1986 by Michael Beckwith. Many people are not familiar with the term New Thought, and some may mistake other religious movements that were formed in the 19th century as part of New Thought. Well-known religious movements from that time that are not considered part of New Thought include Adventism, Baha'i Faith, Christian Science, Jehovah's Witnesses, Latter-day Saints, Spiritualism, and Theosophy. Describing the differences among these faiths in New Thought is beyond the scope of this video, but may be discussed in a future video. There is also often confusion between the terms New Thought and New Age. They are not the same. New Age is highly eclectic, making its precise definition difficult. There is no central authority of the phenomenon to determine what counts as New Age and what does not. The Oxford Online Dictionary defines it as a broad movement characterized by alternative approaches to Western culture with an interest in spirituality, mysticism, holism, and environmentalism. Some within the movement decline to identify their beliefs as religious and even reject the term New Age itself. Although both New Thought and New Age are spirituality-based and may share other values, the two are not the same. Again, it is beyond the scope of this video to even outline what may be considered New Age, but I felt that acknowledging that the two movements are distinct was important. My personal interest and knowledge of New Thought comes from more than 20 years of study of a variety of New Thought authors, both past and present, with a particular interest in unity authors such as Charles Fillmore and Eric Butterworth. This channel will explore their ideas and the ideas of other New Thought teachers and authors. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.